Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Bears. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here in the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to the World of Juice Football League. That is right, the WOJFL is entering their first ever off season in history. Now, there were talks about possibly doing this as a live stream, but I just couldn't get it to work with a time of day when everybody could have been able to watch it, so that you guys could have your opinions and all that kind of stuff, and when it would work for my schedule to actually be live and do it. So unfortunately, we are going to be doing it as just a normal video, but that doesn't mean that I don't know what your guys' opinions could be. I know that you guys obviously want me to draft a lot of the created players that you guys have submitted to the draft class, so that's going to be my first priority, is to be targeting some of those guys. Now, I will be honest, I made these guys, so obviously I know how good they are, but I don't remember. I made these guys a very long time ago. I made these guys maybe two months ago, 3 months ago at this point. So I have no idea how good I made some of these guys. I know that around I made most of them in the 80s so that they could be impact players right away, but I have no idea which ones are which. I have no idea who is better than another player. So if that was a concern for you, thinking that, oh, I'm just going to cheat because I know how good all these players are, I don't remember. You guys know I have a bad memory. I have no idea how good some of these players are going to be. I have a base range of what I think these guys are going to be, but I have no idea how actually good these guys are. So that's something I wanted to ease your guys' nerves. If you had those nerves, maybe you didn't even care. But if you were wondering if I knew exactly how good I was going to like specifically target certain guys because I absolutely know how good they are. No, I'm just going to go in like a normal draft because I don't remember how good some of these guys are. So, or not good. So that's the one thing that I wanted to say. But that's going to be my number one priority, is to draft as many of your guys' creative players as possible so that you guys can obviously see them as often as possible. Now, there's too many of them. I'm not going to be able to get all of them on the same team, so we will, as the season progresses, we will follow some of these players, we will see their stats, we will see how good they're doing on whatever team they get drafted by, and all that kind of good stuff. Also, the franchise tool, I'm not sure how I'm going to involve the franchise tool in today's episode. I'm going to try to involve it in today's episode because we've obviously been using it throughout the entire first season, keeping track of stats more in-depthly, keeping track of the season and the rest of the teams around the league more in-depth, so I want to try to use that in some way in this offseason episode. I just don't know how I'm going to, because all of the stuff I need to do is on the game, not necessarily on the franchise tool. I guess I could do a little bit more in-depth scouting on the franchise tool before we get to the actual draft. I don't know. I'll figure it out, but without further ado, it's time to start the very first ever offseason for the WOJFL. Obviously, we won the championship. If you didn't see the last episode, the WOJFL Super Bowl, go back and watch it. The Wizards are your inaugural world champions in the WOJFL. It was a crazy season. I honestly can't believe that we even freaking got here in the first place, but we did. So here we are, world champions, and it is time to start the offseason. So if you're going to enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. And if you have any suggestions for draft class players that you want to see in the future, leave them down below in the comments, and I will put them in for year 2's WOJFL draft. It is time. We are here at the recap period. Let's take a quick look and recap what happened. So we won the first ever WOJFL Super Bowl. Smoke Morrison got the MVP of it because he had a pick 6 in that game. So that's why he gets it. But we all played pretty well in that game. A lot of the players were playing really, really well. Mike Steigenberger, the quarterback for the Tigers, who was the team that we played in the Super Bowl, he wins league MVP, the first ever WOJFL MVP. We win Coach of the Year as the Juice for the Wizards. Herschel Gates gets Offensive Player of the Year for the Golden Eagles, one of our rivals. Jadeveon Carter, our man, with how many sacks did he have? Oh, he had a bunch of sacks. I can't remember exactly. It was like I want to say it was like 17 and a half or something like that. I forget the exact amount, If you want to go see all the stats and stuff, go back and watch the last episode of the regular season. We took a look at all that stuff more in-depthly. But Jadeveon Carter wins Defensive Player of the Year. Herschel Gates also wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I actually thought that Brick Law won Defensive Rookie of the Year for us, but it was actually Brick Wall for, again, the Golden Eagles. So the Golden Eagles really dominated the awards in the first season. But that is all the recap of the awards and all that kind of stuff that happened this year in the first season. I don't think there's going to be any major retirements. It looks like there's a couple of guys just based on how old they were when they were created, I think. So, oh no, and Dominican Contraband is retiring now. That's too bad. I don't think we have any players that are retiring. No, all of our guys are decently young. So, I don't think there's going to be anybody too major in the retirements, at least in year number 1. But let's get to the good stuff here. Let's get to the real good stuff, the re-sign period, because I think we have a couple of guys that I've been holding out on. I think Tyreek Lawson is a member of that club that I've been holding out on. Jabari Sims these guys want so much money. They want so much money. Howie Jones and Theodore Bear, I'd love to bring back. Good old Teddy Bear's not coming back. He wants way too much money for an 81 overall backup. Howie Jones wants a lot of money as well. I need to bring these guys back. Let's start with Jabari Sims and then work our way down from there. So Jabari Sims is going to get himself a massive contract extension. He was very crucial alongside Jadeveon Carter, helping this defense get to where they were. So luckily he really wants to be here, so we don't have to go too crazy over what they were already offering. Let's go 6-year deal and offer him that, and he's going to come back. That leaves us with $30 million to offer Tyreek Lawson. Looks like we're not going to be making too many different free agent offers, I will say that. But I'll offer him that, and he's going to come back as well. So we do end up pulling the trigger on both of those guys, bringing them back. But other than that, I don't think we're going to be able to make any big-time additions in the free agent period, unless I trade away some contracts that I'm not going to need. That's also a possibility. I haven't tried trading other than trading for, obviously, our quarterback, Bradson Darn. I haven't tried trading for any other player, so I don't know how hard or how easy it is to trade for some of these guys. Do we have any massive penalties on guys that are expensive? So Dick Free has no penalty, and we save $3.18 million. Let's see. Bradson Darn has no penalty because obviously the Caps are paying him. They're paying him his salary, or his bonus at least. Harry Bush has a little bit of a penalty. So the guys that don't have any money or don't have any penalty are guys that I don't really, or are guys that aren't going to value that much, except for maybe Bradson Darn. I was thinking maybe we try to trade Bradson Darn, but that was only really if we weren't going to win the Super Bowl. Then I would try to trade Bradson, but I don't think it's that smart of an idea to trade him now. Yes, he's going to have crazy value, and we can get a crazy quarterback in return. But really, the only quarterback that I would want in return is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, like a Penn Brady. But Penn Brady doesn't move very well. I want a quarterback that can run out of the pocket. That's why we went for Bradson Darn in the first place. So I think the idea is to just keep Bradson. Yes, he's got his faults, but he's also a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So I think we stick with Bradson for another season. There's Isaiah Cannon on the Caps. I think we just stick with Bradson and we ride it out. We ride it out with him. Speed McCree obviously is sticking around because he's a stud. Wide receiver wise, I'd like to add another receiver to this roster. It's just I don't know how we get there in the end. I don't know how we add another receiver because I don't want to trade MVP. I obviously don't want to trade Tyreek Lawson. We just extended him. Parker Peters I'm a big fan of. Benny Button's 7 foot. I can't let go of Benny Button. And then Hanley Gomez didn't really get a whole lot of shine. He could be good. I just don't know how good he actually is. Maybe he's the odd man out. Maybe he's the guy that gets traded. Maybe we replace him with another receiver. We could go for D. Clamps. They were just offering to trade D. Clamps. I saw him in the trade for Bradson Darn. D. Clamps is 25 years old. He's on the last year of his deal. He's got decent speed. He's got really good... He's just a really good athlete in general. Just a very, very good athlete. He's got superstar development. He is... How tall is he? He's 6'2", 200 pounds. D. Clamps, is he easy to get? He might be easier to get for because he's on the last year of his deal. So that might be a guy we stay away from because we're obviously not going to be able to re-sign him to a contract. So D-Clamps is probably gone, or probably not an option for us. I don't think there's anybody that we can ask for. All the guys that I would want are going to be probably too difficult to trade for. And I don't know how much more of an impact these guys would be than the guys that than Hanley Gomez that we have already. Maybe a guy like Devontae Owens, but he's on the last year of his deal, so that's probably a bad idea. Ja'Cory Crispy is a great player, but they also have Welton Lance, who's an X factor. I wonder if we could grab Ja'Cory Crispy, because we just played against him in that Super Bowl game. Yeah, okay, so that they value him, as they should, very highly. I didn't actually think that was going to happen. Jarius Jupiter, is he a possibility? That takes us way into the cap, underneath the cap, or way above the cap, I should say. Garrett Morrison. I don't think there's going to be anybody that I can trade for. And we're back to the beginning again. Yeah, I just don't think there's going to be any wide receiver that I can get, especially with the little bit of cap room that I have in the first place. Tight end, I feel confident in. Offensive line, I like, except for I would love. What? I just had a stroke there for a second. I would love to upgrade Percy Usbeth, just in simple terms of overall. He played fairly well this season, but just simple overall wise, and same goes with Tyree Johnson. I just like to get higher overalls at those positions. No disrespect to those guys, because they actually perform very, very well. We have a very good team. We have a very, very good team. I mean, we won the Super Bowl, so obviously we have a very, very good team. Howard Woodson playing like an unbelievable freak. Brady Montana's moving up the board. Flash Wilson's super, super good. We got a great team. We just gotta figure out this cap situation. I don't think there's anybody that I want to trade away, so I think we just let it ride. We let those two guys leave in the draft, or not in the draft, and they leave in the whatchamacallits, in the free agency. I don't know why I blanked on that for a second. It looks like, as far as mock draft 3 goes, that Quan Lewis is going to head to the Monarchs, the London Monarchs. Very interesting. Philip Sheldon. I feel like the Caps should be focused on getting a quarterback. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in this class, including Buck Buchanan. And there's a couple. Andrew Dalton's also a very good quarterback in this class. This is a good quarterback class. If you need a quarterback, this is the class to get it. So they have us mocking in round mock 3. They have us taking Jackson Blaziken, which I would not be opposed to, because Jackson Blaziken is a very fast running back. But we already have Speed McCree, so I don't think getting another fast running back is the right idea. Isaiah Bloodsaw is maybe the best player in the entire class. He's currently mocked at number 2. We'll see if that changes through the next couple mock drafts. But let's get to the good stuff here. There's trade offers for Teddy Bear. Ooh, there's trade offers for Teddy Bear. So let's go take a look at this. So Devin Tripp, Traylon Lozano, another wide receiver. Okay, so they're all giving me wide receivers. There's a corner, but I don't think Nate Blob's going to do anything for me at 81 overall. We already have really good corners. It looks like, ooh, 85 overall, plus a couple draft picks. They're really valuing Teddy Bear very well, the London Monarchs are. Jalen Webster, I might have to take a closer look at that. We could also get Greg Number from the Aviators, who's 24-year-old corner. And then Chidobe Abrahams, 85 overall superstar corner. He is 29, though, so he's up there with Howard Woodson in age. I don't think getting a corner is the best idea, even though those are some of the highest rated players. Jalen Webster, can I review this offer? No, I can't just actually review the offer. Jalen Webster, is he worth trading for? Because we could use an extra outside linebacker. I wouldn't be opposed to that. It was the Monarchs, I think, that were offering me him. Jalen Webster, he's 85 overall. He's got 1 year left on his deal. He looks like a solid player. He does look like a solid player. I just don't know if that's the guy that we should go for. That's probably why they're trading him, is because he's got 1 year left. He's got 1 year left on the deal. So Howie Jones, we should probably toss up to the trade screen here and see if we can grab somebody of value. AJ Garrett. What about if I put them both together? What about if I put Teddy Bear and Howie Jones both together? Does that give me anybody better? Jamison Chamberlain, I remember playing against him. I think we played against him. Did we play against the Lumberjacks? Maybe we didn't. I don't know. Okay, so it actually doesn't look like there's anybody much better than what we were getting offered. Elijah Carroll, he's a running back. Devin Tripp, Garrett Garstang. We don't really need another running back. We've got all the running backs we need. I don't know. I'm not really too sure what the move is. I think the move might be to take the trade offer for Teddy Bear with the Monarchs and then pocket the draft picks and have to probably lose out on the actual player, Jalen Webster. But we pocket a 2025 third-round pick, which is nice, and then a couple sevens, which isn't really anything. But at least we pocket a third-round pick. We don't really need another tight end, I don't think. I mean, I like the tight ends that we have, so... Maybe we just go for the corner. Maybe we trade him to the Condors. We grab the veteran corner. And then we also pocket a third and a fifth in next year's draft. That could be a positive. It's between that trade with the Condors and it's between that and this trade with the Monarchs. It's just a matter of what do I want. Do I want Jalen Webster, who's 25, but on the last year of his deal? Let me check quickly with the Condors. Is Abrams on the last year of his deal? Because if it would make sense if he was. That's why they're trying to trade him, and they're actually like asking for other draft picks too. So let's go to the Condors. Is Abrams on the... He's got another year on his deal, so he actually has a little bit of money left to be paid. So that's actually probably the better offer. We're not going to bring back Theodore Bear, so this Chidobe Abrams deal, I'm going to accept. Unfortunately, we can't get... Then why offer me the trade? Unbelievable. They offer me the trade, and yet they don't have any cap room to even accept the deal. Okay, whatever. We're not trading Benny Button, so... That's unbelievable. The fact that they offered me that trade and they can't even accept it because they don't have any cap room. You offered me the deal. It's not my fault you don't have any freaking money. So, it looks like... Can I still get him? How much are they down? Oh, they're down negative 21.7. So, they'd have to give up a hefty amount, even more so than... Yeah, that only takes them down to 14. Yeah, so Condors are out. Condors are absolutely out of the question. We cannot get their... trade with them. But if I go to the trade block, he's just not getting the offers that I like to see. He's getting a bunch of running backs. Bunch of running backs and draft picks. Maybe I grab the 2025 third. You know what? I'm going to do this trade with the Black Knights. We'll send him to Paris. We'll get a running back, which is whatever. And then we'll pocket the third and the sixth. At least we get something for Theodore Bear. I'm fine with that. And maybe I can package Melendez along with the guard, Howie Jones. And maybe that'll make it a little bit more enticing. Rasheed Ilya at a 5th round pick. Elijah Carroll. They're giving me more running backs. Jordan Imbalaya. Traylon Lozano. A lot of good 4th round picks in here. I'm not going to take another running back. I'm probably going to do this trade with the Oilers, maybe. They're a rival, so maybe I shouldn't give them a couple. I mean, these are backups, really. So I guess it's not that big of a deal. Maybe I should go for Rasheed Ilya. I probably need to... Let's counter offer this. I need to take a look at him. How good is he? Okay, he's decently fast. He's really good catching the football. He's not the greatest route runner. He has horrible release. He might be a better running back than he is a freaking wide receiver. Very interesting player. Okay, so let's go back. The other guy that I was interested in was this guy, Traylon Lozano. Is he better than Ilya? Ooh, he wears a turtleneck. Cool. Okay, so he's around the same kind of stats in terms of his speed and his catching. He's a better running back than he is a wide receiver. His route running's average. His release is pretty bad. He doesn't look like he'd even play for me. So he's probably out of the question. He is probably out of the question, too. What about this Jordan guy? Jordan I can't even say his name. I probably shouldn't trade for him. Jordan Imbalaya. I don't know. I probably really shouldn't trade for him if I can't say his name. He is also bad release. Why is everybody so bad at releasing? He looks pretty good in the Chicago Bulls uniforms, I will say that. Oh, by the way, I did add a few extra teams to the mod. The jerseys, the relocation jerseys got added, so I added them to the team, or to the group of mods that I have, and so the Bulls are one of them. So he looks pretty good in the Chicago. I hope we play the Bulls next season so we can see their jerseys in action. But he does. I mean, he looks pretty good. He just doesn't have very good release. And he's only 22. How many years did he have on his contract? He's got 3 years on his deal. I think this might be the best trade. Let's take this guy. We're not going to use those other two players. I mean, they were basically nothing. We weren't even signing one of them, so we get another receiver to add to the team, which is cool, I guess. He's got potential. Being 22 years old, he's got a little bit of potential. Here he is. He's 78 overall, so he's not going to play very much, I don't think, at least. But he's decent. He's pretty decent. But we do need to focus on offensive line in the draft. We need to either get some starters or some backups. I forgot that Trey Watts went up to X Factor. That's right. It's kind of crazy. We need to either focus on starting offensive linemen or backup offensive linemen. But let's get to the next stage here, and we'll see what free agency. Obviously, we'll take a look at free agency. We probably won't be pretty big players in there, but we had to bring our guys back. So the top prospect, or the top player in free agency, is Rashawn Terry, 26-year-old, 92 overall X Factor. Austin Zachariah. I feel like we played against this guy. Oops, I did not mean to sort that. I feel like we played against Austin Zachariah. That name sounds very... I feel like I commentated that name before. Tyrone Jones, Tony Jerome, Carl DJ, Grover Gomez, Devontae Miller. There's some very good options in here. But if I was going to go for anybody, our team is so well put together that if I was going to go for somebody, I would go for a guy like Rashawn Terry. I don't have the money to pay for Rashawn Terry. If I was even going to offer him, I can't even give him the neutral offer that I would have to give. So we're not going to go for anybody here, but some players have signed. And unfortunately, I can't see what Terry's team is because the logo... Oh, it says Oakland. So who's Oakland? Wait, did I put a team in... I don't remember. It looks like the Bison, Oklahoma City Bison, got Zachariah and Jones. The San Jose Orbits, a team in our division, they were really bad this year, but they picked up Kenneth Josephine from whatever team he was on before, middle linebacker. And I can't see Oakland got him again, this guy with this right guard. And then Marcus Hindman from Albuquerque goes to, he's going to go play there. He's a 69 overall. Who else got signed? A couple guys. Rio de Janeiro gets Tony Jerome. Oakland signing everybody, apparently. Vancouver gets Levi Dickey, cornerback. Punazuki goes to the Omaha Bulls. And then that's it there. So then that's my final thing. Anybody new? Michael Elliott signed by Montreal. Michael Gump is also in Oakland. Reed Anastasia goes to Rio de Janeiro. Tyler Blinds is headed to Omaha. So a lot of the same kind of teams are offering contracts to different players. You're not really seeing any variety. Who's the team in Oakland? I didn't think I put a team in Oakland. Or is it Oklahoma? Oh, it's Oakland Redwoods. That's the team that's signing all those guys. I couldn't remember I put a team. I didn't think I put a team in Oakland, but I guess I did. Obviously. All right, so we didn't sign anybody in free agency, but a lot of new players are in new places. So we will see how they perform on their new teams. Mock draft number 4 is coming out as well. So we'll see if any big changes happen. Do any big changes occur? Nope. Quan Lewis, Isaiah Bloodsaw, still the top 2 players in the draft. But we do have a little bit of movement here in the top 5. Joey Buchanan now mocked to the Columbus Caps, even though they probably need a quarterback. And then Floyd Dubois is mocked to the Huskies. Very interesting. Did our thing change, or do we still have... Oh, we do. So Blaziken has moved up in the rankings, and Ladarius Mathis has now been mocked to us. Free safety from Wisconsin. Elite strength, but nothing really else physically that he's good at. I'm not really feeling him. Not really feeling the dog. So we'll probably not be taking him. We do have Pro Day results to be revealed. So Quan Lewis's Pro Day results. He ran a 4.4. Oh, this is a very fast quarterback. Whoever gets him, probably the London Monarchs, are going to be very happy. They might got their franchise quarterback right there. I don't even know what kind of position we'll be in. Like, what kind of players are going to be available at 32? Who's going to be a guy for us? There's a lot of left tackles mocked in the first round. Maybe we grab one of them. Well, we're probably not going to be in the market for a left tackle. We'll probably be in the market for a guard, like one of these guys. Hal Kemp, Jason Morrow. They could be game changers for us, maybe. There could be a center on here. Bubba Love looks like a really good center option. Chase Cook also looks pretty good. Ryan Clifford looks pretty good. So there could be some center options. Right guard, we need to get some backups. I like Alex McNally, but he doesn't look... He's undrafted, maybe. Holden Grabowski could be somebody. Brian Bishop could be something like that. Okay, so there's some interior offensive line guys that are down the board. Fat Morris could be something day 3. He looks pretty good. There's some guys on the defensive line that actually could be pretty good. Floyd Dubois is actually a true round 2 to 3 talent. That's very interesting. Good to know. Isaiah Bloodsaw. How did I get him all the way scouted? Did I scout him? I don't remember. Maybe I did. But we know his true talent. Isaiah Bloodsaw, I do think, is the best player in this class. I do think he is the best player in this class by a big margin. Joey Buchanan also looks good, but we just saw he got mocked in the top 5, so he's not going to be down where we are, that's for sure, unless he has a crazy fall. Maybe he's smoking some weed through a gas mask. I don't know. Jacquez Gaddis could be something. Noah Boatwright could be something at outside linebacker. We can always use outside linebacker help, that's for sure. Jacob Diavila could be good. John Minter. The corners, this is a very strong corner class. Very strong corner class. If I want to bring in a corner, then it's going to be one of these guys down here, because this is a very good corner class. I like Malcolm Ray. I like Caden May-Softly. I like Nate Bradshaw. I like Xavier Little a lot. I obviously like Theo Cleary. Glenn Middleton even looks okay. But Malcolm Ray could be a freak of nature. He's 6'4". He's from Michigan State. He doesn't have the speed, but he does look like a freak. So that could be a nice value pick in the second round. He looks like a real good player. And maybe because he doesn't have the speed, we can transition him to a safety. Maybe that would be even better, because he's already got the coverages, so he wouldn't even need to worry about that. And it looks like we got a brother combo in here. We got Jamal May-Softly, and then we've got Caden May-Softly. So either they're brothers or they're cousins. I don't know. But looks like we got a little bit of family connection here in the draft class. All right, so we've taken a little bit of an overview of what the class looks like. I want to get to that final mock draft so we can see, we can get a feel for how the landscape of the draft is going to go. What teams are going to take what players, all that kind of good stuff. So let's get there and figure it out. Let's figure it out. Mock draft number 5 is here. Who are we going to grab? So we got free agency recap first. We got ourselves Oakland grabbing a couple of players. Carl DJ does not sign anywhere. He is 33 years old, but still, superstar development and 88 overall, doesn't end up signing it, neither does Grover Gomez. I may pick up some of these guys in free agency in the preseason, because they're still very good players. I don't know how much they're going to cost. They are very old at this point, but they are very, very solid players. Maybe we can add them as depth. I mean, we only have $7 million, so we got to be careful, but I could be grabbing those guys, that's for sure. All right, so the final mock draft stays the same. Quan Lewis is the consensus #1 overall pick. But Isaiah Bloodsaw, I've been saying this the whole time, I do think he's the best player in this class. So maybe #2 is going to be luckier than #1. Although Quan Lewis does look like a freak. We looked at him earlier. He does look like a freak. Any other changes? Bobby Kidd moves up to 11. Andrew Dalton's probably going to be heading to a green team. I don't know exactly. Some of the logos aren't loading in, so I obviously don't know what they are. Who's mocked to them. Looks like a lot of big-name guys going in the first round. And now they have us taking the #1 safety in the class, I think, Ramon McClendon. Pretty sure he was the #1 safety, or at least #1 free safety. He doesn't look bad. He's got A block shed, A pursuit, A tackling. I like all that, but I don't know. Maybe he's our guy? I'm not really sure what we do with 32, if I'm being totally honest. I don't really even know. I don't really even know what we do with 32. I am probably going to use these on offensive linemen. So let's focus on a guard. Let's use Hal Kemp. Let's do Bubba Love. And then let's do Holden Grabowski. Those will probably be the 3 guys. No, not Holden Grabowski. We know Holden Grabowski is going to be good. Let's do Fat Morris. We'll do those 3 guys. If we can find out those 3 guys, and yes, those 3 guys are created players, if you couldn't tell by the names. So I do want to focus on those guys a little bit more. So let's get to the actual draft week, and maybe before we get into the draft, I'll pull up the franchise tool so we can do a little bit extra in-depth scouting. So let me go see if I can pull up the franchise tool and do a little bit more in-depth scouting before we actually figure out what our plan is at this point in the draft. Okay, so I pulled up the franchise tool, and the home screen is just whited out, so I don't know what's going on there, but if I go to something else, I think it works. I don't know what the home screen's doing, but let's get to the NFL draft, because this is what we really are here about. So we're here at the draft. It doesn't look like it's updated anything, even though we've gotten to the point where it's actual draft time, but it does have, obviously, all the players in it. So I don't really even know what my goal is here. Oh, you could show the ratings? That's kind of cool. I'm not going to do that, obviously, but you could show the ratings. So if I want to go specifically to quarterbacks, you've got Andrew Dalton here. There's Quan Lewis, the consensus #1 overall pick, it looks like, from LSU. He looks very, very good, but we're not focused in on them. We're focused on some of these offensive linemen. There's Holden Grabowski. So he had pretty decent stuff. He looks very good. He looks very good. We don't know anything about his strength or his weaknesses, but he's 6'4", 330. He ran a really good 40 time for an offensive lineman. He was the second right guard. He put up the best time in the 3-cone drill. Not that many bench presses, but I don't think he's super strong. And then we go to centers, and we find our guy. Where is he at? There's Bubba Love from Alabama. He might be my favorite player in the class, at least an offensive lineman. I think he might be the best one we have. He looks very good. And he's probably pretty versatile, too. He's 6'8", 340, so he can probably even move out to tackle if we need him to. I mean, that's a big guy. That's a really big center. So if we need to move him to tackle and replace Oluwatimi or King Queen, we could certainly do that. He looks like he's pretty capable of doing that. And then the left guard we were looking at was Hal Kemp from Michigan State. 6'5", 300. He can probably play all the interior spots. He could maybe even kick out and play tackle if he needed to. He looks like a very versatile player. His combine numbers are good. His college pro day numbers are pretty good as well. I think we're going to try to get as many of these offensive linemen as we can, mainly because we don't have a lot of depth in the offensive line. So that would be a pretty awesome thing if we could bring in one of those guys in the offensive line. As far as everything else goes, I don't know. Maybe we just go best player available and grab some people. I have no idea how this is going to go in the draft. I have no idea. Draft recap. I don't think it says... Oh, hold on. That's showing something you don't need to see. That's showing me something I don't need to see. It was showing dev traits, I think. I didn't see who the players were, but we don't need to see that. I thought that was going to show us something else. I don't think there's like a mock draft portion of this. I think that these are the only 2 tabs on the NFL draft thing, so that's okay. But I do kind of have an idea of where we're going to go in this first round. I think our first round pick is going to be best player available, and then the second through like 6th rounds are going to be just taking value picks that are depth pieces, because really there's not going to be too many guys that are going to start for me, because our team is so well constructed with so many high overall players that it's not really going to be that easy for a draft pick to immediately come in and start for a team like us. We just won the Super Bowl. So it's going to be hard for a player to come in right away and start for us. We'd have to be at the top of the class, and we're not at that. I could probably trade up to that, but I don't think I'm not going to trade up to get like Isaiah Bloodsaw or anything like that. We might as well let those guys go to the teams that are mocked to take them because they need them more than we do, really. We have some good players already. So let's get to the actual draft and try to execute our plan as good as we can. All right, we're back here in the franchise. It's time to start drafting. Let's do this. The number 1 overall pick is the London Monarchs. Who will they select? Will it be their quarterback of the future? They were really bad this year. The London Monarchs were winless for almost the entire season. So, will they get their quarterback in the first overall pick? They do. Quan Lewis, quarterback from LSU, is headed to London. That's a big change. He played in the Bayou, and now he's got to go over to London to play. But he's hopefully the savior of their franchise. The London Monarch fans, the London Monarch organization, all pulling for Quan Lewis to be the face of the franchise, the savior of that franchise. Now, obviously, a quarterback alone can't fully save your team. You need to have good pieces around him, obviously. So we'll see how he plays and how he develops. But he is the number 1 overall pick. The Snowhawks are up next. And this is where Isaiah Bloodsaw was mocked. Will he go there? He does. Isaiah Bloodsaw, my personal pick for best player in the class. He goes number 2 overall, defensive end out of Alabama, headed to the Snowhawks. The Columbus Caps, Bradson Darn's former team, now the home of former Orlando Wizard quarterback Isaiah Cannon. Will they take a quarterback here, or will they take that D-tackle Buchanan? They take Joey Buchanan, defensive tackle from Duke. Okay, so they're prioritizing the defensive line even though they may need a quarterback. Maybe they trust Isaiah Cannon. Maybe they see something that we just simply didn't. To be fair, they did beat us during the regular season when we played them. So Isaiah Cannon, maybe he's got something I didn't see. Number 4 overall pick is the Huskies. They will grab Floyd Dubois. Now, we did see that his true talent was round 2 to 3, even though he was a top 5 projected pick. He goes end up at number 4. We'll see how he progresses, but he is a defensive lineman out of Iowa State. Huskies hope they got their guy. The Nighthawks are up next at number 5, and they grab the first non-number 1 overall pick quarterback. It is Buck Buchanan from Michigan State. This man is a beefy dude. He is huge. He's got an absolute, utter nuclear missile of an arm. This dude is going to be a problem in the league. He is so talented. And the Nighthawks think they got themselves their franchise quarterback as well. The Red Dragons are up next. Who will they grab? Marcus Babineau, D-tackle from Boston College. At one point was the projected number 1 overall pick. Kind of fell down the board once some of these new additions kind of got added in. And he kind of slipped off a little bit. Maybe he had a bad season, didn't live up to the hype. But he still end up in the top 10. So, I mean, is it really that bad of a season? He wasn't the number 1 overall pick, but he still goes top 10. The Armadillos are up next at 7, and they will select Walt Seawright, the first running back off the board out of Georgia. Okay, a little speedster. See where he develops. The Dreadnoughts are at number 8, and they take the first tight end. A tight end in the top 10 is crazy. Dalton Hunt from North Carolina, very tall, very athletic, big red zone target. Think of the biggest NBA player you can think of, and then put that into a tight end's body and put them on an NFL field, and that's what Dalton Hunt is. He's a huge human being, very big, very fast, very strong. He's going to be a massive guy, has very strong hands too, so he's going to be a very difficult player, and the Dreadnoughts got him, so, or whoever that team, who was it that just got him? The Lumberjacks select Philip Sheldon, right outside linebacker from Washington. Okay, good for him. Good for him. That's a top 10 pick. The final pick of the top 10 is the Snowhawks, and they take Theo Cleary, guy that I was personally very high on. Very good corner, very lanky, very quick on his feet, very athletic. He can move around, cover whatever position you need him to cover, and very good player out of Mizzou. The Mounties are at 11, and the Mounties take Bobby the Kid, right tackle from UCF, trying to shore up that offensive line, get that right side that secured, and it looks like they might have got their guy. At least they hope they got their guy. The Redwoods are up next, and the Redwoods will select a quarterback, Andrew Dalton from North Kakalaki. North Carolina quarterbacks have a history of not working out too well, but also this is a new era, new quarterback. He's a different breed. He's a very good player, very talented, and he's got a lot of good weapons in North Carolina that he was throwing to, and now he's got some NFL talent to throw to as well. So, excuse me, that's a Freudian slip. A WOJFL talent to throw to. The Sentinels are up next. They take Gavin Dealman, right tackle from Wisconsin. The Riverhogs at number 14 will select Kevin Henry, strong safety out of Florida. The Orbits, one of our division rivals, the first division rival to draft. Who will they take? Cooper Treptow, wide receiver from Alabama. This dude is electric. Very good slot receiving wide receiver, kind of that do-it-all. Think of a receiving combination of Julian Edelman plus like the speed and athleticism of like a Rashee Rice. Not his off-the-field issues, but his on-the-field comparison. Rashee Rice, very fast, very good. Mixed with a little bit of Julian Edelman, kind of grit and grind, take as many hits as possible, get down and dirty, get the catch. That's what Cooper Treptow is. The Black Knights are up next, and they will take Clint Daniels, free safety from Oregon State. The Bison are up next. They take Alex Bennett, D-tackle, keeping him in the state. Oklahoma City grabbing their hometown talent. Alex Bennett from Oklahoma. The St. Louis Blues pick at number 18. And they will take Juan Cage, another guy that was projected top 5 early in the season. Same with Babineau, kind of fell down the board once some new faces kind of emerged in the college season. And he falls to out of the top 10, unfortunately, but he still goes top 20. And he's in a decent situation because now these teams are going to be obviously a little bit better, a little bit more along the lines of winning a championship or at least contending for one. So Juan Cage goes to a good situation. The Huskies have another pick in the first round, and they take Max Hodge, right end from Penn State. The next corner off the board is Xavier Little out of Texas Tech. He's headed to the Bulls. The Antler are up next at 21. They take DJ Afanti, left tackle from Michigan State. He was blocking for one of the quarterbacks from Michigan State, who I think is still on the board, right? Or did he get taken already? He might have gotten taken already. I know there's a quarterback from Michigan State in this class, and I think I already said his name. So, he's now not blocking for him, but he is in the NFL now. I did it again. He's now in the WOJFL playing for the Antlers. It is the Houston Oilers, another rival of ours. They take Brock Buchanan, big tight end out of Michigan, very big-bodied. Another very powerful tight end, good at blocking, good at receiving, good at doing whatever you need him to do. He's a very versatile tight end, and he's also very fast. And the final rival, the Golden Eagles. We played them in the playoffs. We beat them. They grabbed Nate Bradshaw, cornerback from Ohio. The Voyagers are up next at 24. They will grab a center, David Davenport from LSU. The Condors will select J.J. Newby, left tackle, Oklahoma State. The Steamers will take Kevin Colbert, right end from Louisville. The Shamrocks are at 27. They grab Ashine Fry. Is it Ashine? I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's a Miami receiver, and he's headed to the Shamrocks. That's going to be a big culture shock for him. The Pioneers, one of the best teams in the WOJFL this past season. Actually, the best team because they were 16-1, I think, or something like that. They have pick 28, and they will grab Jason Boston, left guard, Oklahoma. The Thunderbirds at 29, Daryl Gaddis, tight end from Colorado. Then you got Jackson Blaziken, who at one point was mocked to us at 32. He ends up getting picked at 30 by the Desperados. Now it's time for the team that lost in the WOJFL Super Bowl, the Memphis Tigers. They will grab Ramon McClendon, free safety, Ohio State. Another guy that was mocked to us. And now it is 32. It is our chance to pick. For the first time, the Wizards will have a pick. Who do we grab? Do we grab a receiver? Do we grab a freaking corner? Do we grab a linebacker? Do we go offensive line? Because I know that we've been talking about offensive line for a lot of this offseason episode, and there's still some very good offensive linemen still available, including Hal Kemp, who I might go for, but we don't have any other picks except for 32nd. I mean, we have an extra 4th round pick that's 21st, but that's not going to really do much. Hal Kemp looks too good to pass up. Bubba Love, we know, is very, very good as well. Gabrowski's also probably pretty good. Fat Morris is now the top right tackle on the board. I don't know where we go, boys. I don't know where we go. I kind of want to take a receiver. I mean, Romeo Reese is here, Mario McNath, Santana Rodriguez, Jacob Kingman, all very good receivers. Is there anybody down the board that we could maybe snag a little bit later? I don't know if there is. I don't think any of these guys are going to be worth it. I think we either have to take one of these receivers and miss out on an lineman, or we grab one of the linemen and miss out on one of the receivers. Romeo Reese, he's 5'11". He's got good speed, 4.4 speed in the combine. He looks pretty solid. Amari McMath, yes, 6'4" out of Arkansas. Catching, deep route running, all A's. He looks probably better than Romeo Reese a little bit. Then you got Santana Rodriguez, 6 foot out of UCLA, 4.48 speed. Also looks decently good. Jacob Kingman, 6'2", Missouri, 4.2 speed. Wow, Jacob Kingman's really fast. I think we either grab Kingman or McMath, or then we take one of the guards. The only problem is I don't think that Hal Kemp makes it to pick 32 of the second round. So we might have to trade into the second round, trade up in the second round to take Hal Kemp, because I doubt that he makes it here. But I'm going to take one of the wide receivers. Let's get a little crazy here. Do we take Amari McMath or do we take Jacob Kingman? I think we take Jacob Kingman because he simply is fast. He's got all the stuff we need, plus he's got 4.29 speed. He's the fastest receiver left on the board. I think we take Jacob Kingman with our first round pick. 95 speed, 94 excel, and he's 6'2". That is a freak of nature. Jacob Kingman, welcome to the Orlando Wizards. That's a huge pickup. Okay, so now we've got a receiver. We need to go into the second round. Romeo Reese goes number 1 in the second round. We need to go into the second round and trade into it to grab the line or the offensive lineman, whatever his name was. Hal something, right? All right, he's super far down the board. Holy crap. Where's he even at? Hal Kemp is 40th right now on the big board, which doesn't mean he's not going to go before pick 32. It's just a better odds that he won't go, but he could go at any point here. If a team needs a guard and they scouted him, they could certainly take him, and I don't want them to. I just don't know when the right idea or when the right time to trade up is. Jacob Avila, Luke Goodwell, at any point he could go. At any point, Hal Kemp could go. I don't want him to. But there's so many good players ahead of him. It's just a matter of, does a team need a guard or not? Does a team need a guard or do they not need a guard? Jerry Weber, Amari McMath is headed to, I can't see the team. Jamal May softly goes. If we get to the 20s and he's still available, I'll feel pretty confident we can trade up. Dante Mitchell. Brandon Colbert. I'm playing with fire right here. Isaiah Streets. I am playing with absolute fire. He's now ranked. He is now ranked at number 24, so he's starting to climb a little bit. Chase Cook is also a guy that I'm very interested in, but I'm probably more interested in Bubba Love. Oh, baby. Do I trade up now or do I keep playing with fire? The next two picks are rivals. I don't think I can trade with them. I'll try to trade up with the Thunderbirds here. I'll try to trade up with the Thunderbirds. See what they're asking for this pick. They have two second round picks, and they're good to go. They don't need to have this pick. They're asking for a lot of picks, actually. I probably have to give them this pick. I was hoping I could maybe keep it, and I probably could still. I wonder if I can. What about if I give them... Oh, that's right. I gave away all my 2026 picks to get Bradson Darn, didn't I? And I gave away my first round pick in 2025. I forgot about all that. Well, what about if I give a third round pick in 2025? I probably have to give the... I don't want to give that pick away. I don't want to give that pick away. I don't really have a lot of assets, do I? I traded it all for Bradson Darn. I traded it all for Bradson Darn. I don't really want to trade away my pick here, but I guess I will if I have to. What about if I just pile on a bunch of extra picks? How's that? Just pile on a bunch of extra picks, and they accepted it. So I did have to give up my pick this year, my second round pick. But I do move up to get Hal Kemp. I could have probably simulated a few extra picks and not had to worry about it, but I couldn't let him go. I simply couldn't. He looks like a generational type of player. He's 6'5". He's got all the athletics he wants. I mean, look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. These are fantastic. Hal Kemp is my guy in the second round. I could not let that type of talent go away. We need offensive line depth. He could probably start right away depending on what his overall is. So, and especially couldn't let him go to a rival. The Oilers take a running back. Clayton Durham, Kenny Bridges, James Slaughter, Brian Hale, Jack Soriano, Bryce Brown from Michigan State, DeJuan Burrell, Malcolm Ray from Michigan State. He's going to the Desperados. That's a good pickup. I would have liked to get him. I would have even been in a spot to get him anyway. And now we're into the third round. Jay Painter goes. This is probably where more of those offensive linemen are going to go. And I don't think I'm going to trade up anymore. Drew Teskey from Minnesota headed to the Dragons, the Red Dragons. Ryan Clifford goes. As long as Bubba Love doesn't go. I don't think he should go. But I'd be very upset if he did. As long as Chase Cook stays on the board, we should be good. Because here's Bubba Love right here. I really hope Bubba Love makes it. I really hope Bubba Love makes it. I don't think we're going to trade up. Oh, Bubba Love goes the very next pick. Bubba Love goes the very next pick. So we miss out on a pretty good center. Chase Cook goes. All the good centers are getting taken before I'm even up. That's what happens when you win the championship, man. You don't get a lot of the good draft picks. Dalvin Thomas, Brad Lang, Carson Stanford. Oh, Holden Grabowski also went. That probably would have been my pick. That probably would have been my pick. I didn't even think about trading up for him. All right, so now I don't even know where to go. A lot of my guys that I was eyeing are all gone. Now, Alex McNally still looks solid, but we don't know for sure. Fat Morris is still available. I might take him in the fourth round. And there was a center right here, Larry Schultz, who also looks pretty decent. So I might go and grab him. But maybe we go defensive. Maybe we go defensive. Is there any defensive players that pique the interest? Earl Peppers out of Washington State. We don't really need another middle linebacker. Right outside linebackers, I'm not seeing anybody too crazy. It's a very deep corner class, but I think all the good corners have been taken. At least a lot of the good ones. Korean James could be a guy. Looks pretty solid, but not good skill-wise, at least. I think we take that center. I think we take that center. We kind of pull the trigger on Larry Schultz. We take a risk. Is he going to be good enough? He's a hidden development player. I'll take that. That's a solid player. That's a solid player. We're fixing this offensive line. We're working on it. We're making sure it's got depth. We basically just replaced those two guys that we let go. Teddy Bear and the other guy, the right guard or whatever he was. We replaced both those guys with the offensive lineman that we have today. So I'm happy with that. And now in the fourth round, we got 2 picks. We basically just take best player available. If there's a good player that fits something we need, then we'll grab him. A lot of corners are going off the board even here in the 4th round. Very interesting. We're coming up on our first 4th round pick. There goes Korean James. All right, here we are at 21 in the 4th round. Best player available could be this safety, Javon. Wait, what's his name? Yeah, Javon Hawthorne from Miami. Not fast, really, but he could have the skills needed, and he might be the best player available. Everybody else doesn't look too promising. DeAndre Mayer, 4.7's not great. I feel like I looked at this guy, Tevin Nash. I feel like I looked at him in the past, but he doesn't look too amazing. Oh, I forgot about Fat Morris. Yeah, we're going to take Fat Morris. It's a good thing I didn't pick somebody else, because Fat Morris we're going to grab, and he is a hidden development player. 6'6", 340. That's a very intimidating build. Very big dude. Good player. We get a hidden development in the 4th round. That's a huge pickup. And now we just kind of have to wait it out till pick 32, see what's available. I wonder if we go running back this one. Should we go running back here with the 32nd pick? Javon Hawthorne's still available. I might grab Javon Hawthorne. He doesn't look too bad. He might not be the greatest player, but he can be a nice backup. Daniel Bennett, 5'10" power back. We don't really need a power back. Orlando Ali, Bowling Green State, decent. I don't know. I don't think we go running back here. I think we take Javon Hawthorne. He's probably going to have normal development. No, he actually has hidden. Javon Hawthorne, 85 speed, 90 excel. All right, that's a solid 4th round pickup. I will take that. Absolutely. I will take that. That's a really, really good pick. All right, now I don't think we have any extra picks after that 4th round. I think everything else is just chalk. So we'll get to our pick. Pick 32. Who's it gonna be? I don't know. I don't know if there's any other players that are created here. I don't remember, so I apologize if you see somebody that you suggested and I just pass over them because I don't remember. There could be, I guess, but I don't honestly remember. There could be some wide receivers. A lot of you guys wanted wide receivers, so there could be a wide receiver. I might go tight end here. Is there any tight ends available? There's a couple. There's a 6'7" tight end, Khalil Mims. Oh my God. He doesn't look like the best tight end, but he's a freak athlete. I'm going to take Khalil Mims. He has hidden development. Wow, what a steal in the 5th round. 6'7" tight end with all these. What? That's a crazy pickup. That's a wild pick. Oh my God, that's crazy. That's actually insane. And now we have, we do have an extra draft pick. It is a 6th round pick. Is there any quarterbacks left on the board? Maybe somebody that wants to throw their hat in the ring for battling for the backup spot. Not this guy, that's for sure. Drew Kendricks. Clay Reisner. At this point, we don't need a guy that has crazy speed. We just need a guy that has good accuracies. I don't think we're going to find anybody this late in the draft that has crazy good accuracies. So I think we might just be out of luck with the quarterbacks. But we got enough quarterbacks. Yeah, we're not gonna take a quarterback. Not gonna take a quarterback. We might take defensive player because we really haven't even done that today. And defensive players are always... I mean, we took Javon Hawthorne, but we haven't really taken that many defensive players. Benjamin Burke looks like a good player. A zone coverage, B man coverage, B tackling, C pursuit. Benjamin Burke doesn't look bad. He could certainly be the guy that we go after. Max Van Buren. Don't know enough about him to take him here. We know a little bit more about the other guys, so that's probably why I'm leaning towards him. And it probably is going to be him. Benjamin Burke, welcome to the Orlando Wizards. Okay, finally our first miss, but that's okay. Still a very good player. 87 accelerations, no joke. 82 speed, 80 agility. He's a very good player. All he needs to really do is be backup, and that's what he's going to be. And he's a 6th round pick. There's not a lot of expectations for him. All right, so we have 2 picks left. We have this pick, and then we have Mr. Irrelevant. So what are we going to do with it? Well, Tevin Nash is still here. I feel like I need to take him. He's 23. That's probably why he's still here. I know he's a Buckeye. I don't want to take him though. He doesn't look too good. If he was just slightly better, I would definitely pull the trigger on him, but I just can't. I can't pull the trigger on him. He doesn't look good enough. We probably need to take a D tackle, but I don't think there's any D tackles that are good left. What about Carlos Shelton? 23 years old. I don't like that. Not worth it. There's not really any D tackles I want to take, so maybe it's a defensive line. Maybe it's Johnny Campbell. B power moves, B play rec. Not the worst in the world. Enrique Mullins, 6'6", also 23 years old. He doesn't look as good as the other guy. I think I'm going to take the other dude. Johnny Campbell. He's 22. He's 305. I guess we can move him to D tackle if we need to, but he's probably not going to be that high of an overall. That's okay, though. It's not that big of a deal. But now we have Mr. Irrelevant. Who is it going to be? The first ever WOJFL Mr. Irrelevant. Who is it going to be? Who is it going to be? Johnny Minter? I've been having my eye on him a little bit. I've been seeing him around. I didn't think he'd still be here. He's got elite acceleration. I'm a sucker for elite acceleration. B zone coverage, B catching. He probably has B man coverage as well. Johnny Minter's a very likely candidate to be Mr. Irrelevant. Keontae Mullins. It's probably just a waste of a pick. I can't take him. Tevin Nash is still... I really want to take Tevin Nash, but he doesn't look good enough to take. He just doesn't look good enough to take. I can't do it. I think I'm going to take Johnny Minter. 6'1", out of Alabama. He is Mr. Irrelevant. There it is. The first ever WOJFL draft has been completed. 91 acceleration for Johnny. It's crazy. And now we get to see how good we did. Did we live up to the hype? Did the draft class perform? 82 overall for Jacob Kingman. 76 for Hal Kemp. 71 for Larry Schultz. 78 for Fat Morris in the 4th round. Javon Hawthorne's a 66. Mims is a 61, but he's a freak athlete. Benjamin Burke's a 63. Campbell's a 64. And Minter's a 61. That's okay. I still think we had a pretty solid draft. Remember, we weren't drafting for a starter. We were drafting for depth. We were drafting for backups. And that's what we got. We got a bunch of backups. Exactly what we needed to do. We accomplished our goal. Best players in the class, it was Isaiah Bloodsaw. 84 overall. He's a stud. Buck Buchanan, he's the Michigan State quarterback. I was trying to think of his name. I couldn't think of it. It's Buck Buchanan. 84 overall as well. Walt Seawright ends up being an 84. Quan Lewis is the number 1 overall pick, an 83. Ashen Fry, I apologize, I don't know how to say his name. 83 overall. 82 for McDevitt, 82 for Kingman. So we got one of the top players. Dalton Hunt's 82, a couple 81s for Buchanan, Joey Buchanan, Malcolm Ray, Teskey, Dalton, Henry, all 81s. Santana Rodriguez, Jamal May Softly, Jackson Blaziken, Brock Buchanan, Cooper Treptow are all 80s, and then a few guys are 79s. Man, if I would have got Holden Garbowski, I probably should have traded up to get him. I didn't even think about it. That was a bad one. That would have been another really good pickup for us. But these are some of the best players in the class. If you see your player that you asked for to be created in here, let me know. And let me know if you like the situation they got drafted to. I wish I would have got Bubba Love. I tried my best, but he got taken the very next pick, unfortunately. But if you see your player in here, then let me know down below in the comments. I feel like we got ourselves a good draft class. We got ourselves a very responsible draft class. I only traded up once, and I didn't trade up too crazy. I gave away some picks in the next couple drafts, but that's okay. It's not that big of a deal because we're the Super Bowl champs. We're the best players. We got the best players of all time. So Kingman now jumps in above Imabale, or Imabalea, whatever his name is. We add some more depth with Kemp, with Schultz, and with Morris. So I'm liking that. Tight ends are good. Yarbrough, I like that. I'm assuming that Hal Kemp's going to be a starter pretty soon. But the offense in general just looks really good. I feel pretty confident about that. And then the defense also looks pretty good. We're contenders again. We'll just see how it goes. We are contenders again. All right, that's going to do it for the first ever WOJFL offseason. I hope you guys enjoyed it. The next episode, we will start season number 2 of the WOJFL. I can't wait. We'll get to see some of these rookies. We'll go through all that kind of good stuff. If you enjoyed the video, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Again, let me know down below in the comments if you saw your player in the draft, and if you enjoyed who drafted him, if you think he's going to a good situation, all that kind of good stuff. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.